Thanksgiving holiday. I know a lot of people kept it pretty small this year, which is great, to help prevent COVID transmission. So, yeah, I took a whole week off from work, which felt amazing, and just getting back into the swing of things now. So, I was looking at my website, AllisonSabula.com, my coaching website, and I was looking at the traffic, and I just noticed that I've been getting quite a few people clicking on my pages about coaching and how to work with me. So I thought this would be a good time to talk about that, since it seems like, I don't know, maybe a few of you have been looking into what that looks like on my website. And I don't think I offer great information there. So, so I just want to get right into it. I guess I'll talk a little bit about what got me into coaching, offering coaching, what got me into working with coaches, what I've gotten out of that in the past, what it looks like to work with me, what you might get out of it. I know a lot of people will be curious, like, how much does it cost, and sort of what are the next steps moving forward. So that's what I'll cover in the next maybe 15 or 20 minutes or so. So 2013 is when I first became aware of the world of coaching. Both at that same time, I enrolled in a program to become a coach, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which is not the most academically rigorous program, but I learned a lot about how to encourage, or almost how to help people encourage themselves to do better. It's interesting because when it comes to coaching, it doesn't work to tell people what to do. No one likes that. And so oftentimes people know what we need to be doing. And we just need someone that feels supportive, loving, and challenging in the right space to help encourage our own inner wisdom and our own inner knowing and our own determination and ability to do bigger and better things. We need someone to hold that space for us and to help us get there. But coaching, isn't about telling people what to do or telling people what they're doing wrong or giving advice or anything like that, because somehow there's a basic human need for agency and to feel like we're in control. And so what a good coach will do is hold space and, say a lot of the time, tell me more about that, or what do you think is happening here? What do you think the blocks are? But even though some of these things are very basic questions, I think that there's also some nuance that happens in a coaching setting where a really good coach can notice the feeling behind the statement, or notice when something is really triggering a person, or, I noticed that your body's getting a little agitated when you talk about that. Can you tell me what might be behind that statement? Or can you tell me what might be triggering you? So these are the types of things that I learned in my year-long coaching certification program. And at that same time, I attended this really fun, really flirty event in New York City, taught by my first coach, Christina Berkeley. And I really didn't know, actually, even though I had enrolled in this health coaching program because I wanted to help people eat better, I didn't really know what a life coach was. And I took this workshop. It was supposed to be fun. It was supposed to be kind of like a dating event. It was eye gazing. And what you would do is there were men and there were women, and you would sit across from them and just make eye contact for a few minutes at a time, which is pretty uncomfortable, but can be really fun and intimate. And then switch partners. After that, Christina did this game where we all got little sticky pads, and she asked us questions, and we had to write down kind of flirty, fun little answers and pass them around to different people. And I started to notice that I was getting notes from some of the men, and I started to feel really agitated in my body. And I realized that I really didn't feel comfortable receiving these flirtatious notes. And I thought, it was interesting because I was looking at Christina, who was leading the workshop, and she was having so much fun. She just was like, her whole body was alive, and you could see like this light in her eyes, and she was having a blast. And she loved this kind of turned on energy. You think like being turned on, we tend to think of as being sexual, but kind of the way that I started to see it was like being turned on in terms of, are you excited about things? Is there joy? Is there vibrancy? And that can also be a sexual energy, but it can also just be feeling this awe and wonder and excitement and joy about life. And I just was like, I don't think I have any of this on any part of the spectrum, but here's this woman who has this thing that I want. And so she said, by the way, I'm also a life coach. And anyone who's interested in working with me can, put this on the sign-in sheet. And so I just took a chance and didn't really know what that meant to work with a life coach, and ended up working with her for over a year. And I'm really glad that I took that risk and that leap into the unknown. It was weird. It was scary. I don't know if I would have done it if I hadn't moved to New York City, because, I was living in my hometown, San Luis Obispo. It's pretty small town here. And I don't think I knew any other life coaches, and certainly not people doing as amazing and inspiring of work as Christina was doing in New York. And it was scary, and it was weird, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and we would sit down every week and it'd kind of be like, well, what's going on? What's hurting? What's challenging? And at that time I was 20, I think it was 29 when I started working with her. And it was a lot. There were a lot of things that were challenging. I think that I had inherited a lot of mindsets that were not working for me. A lot of like pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality, a lot of internal shame and blame, a lot of internal guilt, a lot of feeling dead on the inside and feeling numb instead of that beautiful, wonderful, turned on energy and that excitement. And I just kept meeting block after block after block. For example, when I lived in New York, I had a couple of jobs in tech where my male tech bosses would forget to pay me on time. And so there was this block that I had to overcome, and I had to see about valuing myself and my worth, and making sure that I was surrounding with people who saw my worth and appreciated my worth, and would always, and I mean, never even think about not paying me on time. That would always pay me on time, who would always appreciate me and value me, and to make sure that the way that I was showing up in my life was with integrity and confidence, and always honoring my word, and always being the best person that I could, so that I could find those jobs and those people that would honor those best qualities of myself. So these are the types of things that Christina helped me with. And I worked with a couple of other coaches after her that continued to shine a light on these dark places where shame and guilt were keeping me from making changes that would help me be the best possible version of myself. So I'm just trying to think if I have any quick and easy examples. Oh, I do have a really good one. Coach that I worked with, his name's Emmerich. I had moved to Austin to start a new job, and was just finding myself getting so frustrated and so depressed about my relationship with my boss there. And Emmerich helped me really look at my resistance to even having a boss, authoritarian work structures, and to see that my frustrations at work were directly related to my relationship with my and different traumas that I hadn't healed yet. People to help me make that association with some of my problems with communication at work, and those relationships that need to be repaired from trauma from childhood. And the changes in my life were profound, because once I could stop blaming the people at work and see it for what it was, which is that my trauma was being triggered, I could really make tremendous changes. Because when we're feeling more empowered and we're not blaming, we can ask for what we need. We can even know what we need. We can communicate better. that misplaced anger is one of the biggest blocks that we have, and it can be so hard to see. I wish I could have seen it myself. I couldn't. I needed to get on that phone and just say, I'm at my wit's end. I'm emotionally exhausted. I don't know what to do. I'm feeling so frustrated. I hate everyone. And to have him mirror that back to me and say, well, let's dig in here deeper. Let's look at let's alternate scenarios of what could be going on. And it was so transformational. And it definitely led me to get, the deeper and deeper healing that I needed, which did include therapy with a traditional therapist, and then later on some medication for depression. So coaching is not, in my mind, an alternative to therapy. It's a supplement to therapy, and it's a supplement, to any other clinical treatment that may be needed, such as any sort of prescription medications that might be needed. So to me, when I'm working with new clients, and I've been a coach now for 6.5 years. And so when I'm working with clients, I typically work with people who have had therapy or are willing to go to therapy at the same time, just because they're nice complements to each other. So coaching is a little bit different from therapy. And this is one of the questions I wrote down to answer, because I know it always comes up. Well, what's the difference? Therapy is so, so, so wonderful. And it's also very affordable. In the US, with the Affordable Care Act, every person has insurance. So there's someone for everyone to find a cheap or almost free therapist in your area. I think I pay $10 each time copay to go see my therapist, which is so amazing. And if you see the same therapist for a long time, this can really, really help you repair your attachment trauma. So if you have insecure attachment from your primary caregivers and you're visiting the same therapist week after week, they're helping you repair that attachment bond so that you know what it feels like to attach safely and securely to someone who a parent-like figure for you. Start to know what it feels like to know what your needs are and ask for what you need, communicate, have someone that's paying attention to you, that's mirroring you, and that really cares about you. And so coaching is a lot like that too. It shares a lot of those same qualities, but action-oriented. So typically I work with people who have a very specific goal in mind. May want to earn more money, you help launching your business. Another thing that I specialize in is helping people process grief, which could also be thought of as the realm of therapy. But again, to me, they're not mutually exclusive. Oftentimes we can find really creative projects, creative artistic projects. I help someone do an interview and writing project to process the grief of the loss of a loved one. So coaching tends to just be a little bit more into, what actions can you take? What tangible results do you want to see? So you can kind of think of therapy as maybe processing the emotions, talking it out, and coaching is for those specific actions that are going to lead to your life looking different when we're done. And so that's what I really specialize in helping people with. So as some examples of what I've helped people with, I had someone come to me. They were really struggling at work. They were getting some feedback that they weren't being the most emotionally attuned manager, needed some help around that. So we worked on transforming this person's management style so that they could attune a lot better to the employees that they were managing. And this person did end up getting an award for being the best manager that year. So I really like helping with that one. I've actually helped. I helped another client with that type of thing. Just setting up systems for management. And so if you come with work goals, what's really great about that is that oftentimes your employer will cover the costs of working with me, and that's happened for multiple of my clients. I'm trying to think what else I've helped people with. I think a big thing that I help people with is clear communication and boundary setting. So again, we would just set very specific goals and track those. And every time we talk, how is that going? Did you have the conversations you said you were going to have? Did you set those boundaries? How did you feel? What else can we do? And we will be creating those goals, specific actions. So it's really The process of transformation is that you label the block. You go, I'm feeling stuck here. What do I do? We find some sort of as to what's really going on. What are these, and this is why, I do trauma-informed coaching. So what happened in childhood that's keeping you stuck? What limiting mindsets are there? We uncover those. You'll have an insight about what's really happening. And then we start practicing, and you will learn to coach yourself. You'll learn to compliment yourself and honor your own journey, and give yourself credit. I've been joking a lot with my friends about giving ourselves trophies when we do well, and you'll learn how to talk to yourself more kindly, with more compassion, and set specific action goals. And then when we talk next, you'll report back. Here's all the insights I had. Here's how I changed my behavior. And so that's what's so important, is that your life won't change unless your behavior changes. So it's not enough. It's not enough to just wish for it to happen. And that's why having a coach can be so transformative, is that it's so important to have someone cheering us on and keeping us accountable. We know we're going to check in with our coach, next week. And so we do show up and take action. Now, lots of people in our lives can be our coach. For example, my boyfriend, coached me this weekend without even knowing about it. I had a block come up and I shared it with him. Action steps for myself, and then I did it. I had the conversations I wanted to have, and then I checked in and just said, thank you so much for holding space. I ended up having those conversations, and they were really good. So it's not that you can't, a friend, a sibling, a parent, a partner. There's all sorts of people that and you can definitely coach yourself. And so hopefully giving the resources to you in these mental health check-ins that I've been doing since March, that have given you tools to coach yourself. And if you want more resources like books or I'm trying to think. I would be so happy to, because paying to work with one-on-one with a coach is an investment. And so it's really not for everyone. And I definitely think that for many of you, you absolutely are capable of setting your own goals, tracking them, keeping yourself accountable, or working on that with a friend or partner. But for some people, I am the right coach for them to work with. And so you might be wondering if that's you. And I've been really, really, really lucky and so incredibly grateful to have found some of the most wonderful people to coach the past 6.5 years. And I really sometimes pinch myself with the people that I've gotten to work with, and the kinds of goals that I've helped them accomplish, and the kind of dreams I've helped them achieve. And somehow the right people seem to always find me. And if you're one of them watching, I'm very grateful for you. And so I would say that the types of clients I work with are able to make that financial investment. And that's something that we would talk about after we have a one-on-one call, of how much that costs. I would say, like, people who are very motivated to work with me have never not worked with me because of the financial piece. So typically, I'll say how much it costs. This person can work on saving that money, or oftentimes it's very manageable for the majority of people. Or we can work out, a call schedule that works for people's budget. So I would say, if you're feeling motivated and you have a little bit of money that you can afford it, then it shouldn't be an issue. However, I've said this before in past mental health check-in videos. I know for sure that coaching is one of these things where we often only serve privileged people who can afford it. And I know that, and it's something that does really bother me about coaching. And that's why I also offer service to a broader community by working at a nonprofit. So it is very important to me that mental health services be available to people regardless of their income. And one-on-one coaching just happens to be something that many people can very easily afford. And it's just one of the ways that I'm able to serve. But there are many, many other ways that I donate my time, or really feel called to work in the nonprofit setting, so that I can have a variety of people. So The next steps would be to send me a message, like a one-on-one message on Facebook or a text or an email, or through my website. I will have you fill out a form on my website. It's a $50 deposit. It's a refundable deposit for the first call. If we're not a good fit to work together, then you get the $50 back. The $50 just ensures that only people who are really interested in talking to me about working with me end up utilizing my time. And then if you do end up working with me, then that $50 will go towards the coaching program. Coaching programs typically are 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. They're customized. We will talk either 2 or 3 times a month, and we will customize the program based on your specific goals, dreams, and needs, and financial ability. So, yeah. So if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. And again, the next steps would just be to send me a message and just go kind of, hey, I do have this kind of specific thing I want to work on, or, you know what, I've just been feeling stuck. I'm not really sure exactly, but I'm hoping you can help me figure out why I've been feeling stuck, or I've been feeling kind of dead inside. I love like nihilist humor. So it can be, I've been feeling dead inside. I would love to feel more alive and more passion, to figure out if I can find more joy in my life. All things considered, obviously, joy has been pretty hard to come by this year with the pandemic. And then again, another specialty that I love helping with people is, so I myself have lost a couple of loved ones in my life, and it's something that I've helped several clients process, the loss of really dear loved ones. And it's something that I'm would love to help you with as well, because this is some of the stuff that hurts the most. So, another thing that I love helping people with is dating stuff. So if you're feeling blocked dating romantically, or you're fighting a lot with your person, or you just feel stuck, or you feel like you may have some sort of attachment things, or you find it hard to meet people, I would love to help you. I've helped lots of people with that. I've worked with some great dating coaches. I've learned a lot. And I just feel very passionately that we all deserve to have love, and that some of the biggest benefits in our life come from intimacy with our partners and also with our close friends. So, that's another thing, that if you're feeling kind of like intimacy issues, like I don't feel close to the people who are in my life, that's something I can help you with too. I'm sure that once I end this, I'll think of a million things that we could work on that I didn't mention, but just feel free to send me a message. There's all sorts of little challenges that you may have, and most of them are around childhood trauma, boundary issues, shame and guilt that's kind of buried in there. And they're keeping us from launching that business we really want to launch, or going back and finishing our degree, or getting that next degree, finding the love of our life, or, communicating well with the love of our life, or having good relationships with our parents. I think the number one thing that people often will work with me on is those interpersonal relationships, because they're so hard, but they bring the most joy to our life. So if any of this is resonating for you, just send me a message and I'll go over kind of the next steps. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you if you think it might be a good fit. And again, just thank you in advance for, if you send me a message, for sharing what's in your heart with me. And I don't take that for granted. And it's one of the most beautiful and valuable things about starting my coaching practice 6.5 years ago, is that people have shared their heart with me. And it's been a really beautiful and amazing journey. And I look forward to getting to know some of you as well. So, basically I'll be interviewing people who might be interested, and then we can start working together early 2021, where I'll be opening up just a couple of spots. So great, and looking forward to hearing from you. And I'll see you again with mental health check-in on Thursday.